Alright, everybody. I think we are live. Welcome back to Pokemon Showdown. It has been a sec. All the way back in Reg E, we had a Pokemon Showdown state of play. And I haven't been keeping up with Pokemon Showdown videos as much. I mean, this is a live stream, so you can... Technically, still not keeping up with Pokemon Showdown videos. Is my audio still good? Okay, audio's fine. Okie dokie, I need to have chat up on my phone. In just a sec. It's probably good. Just a minute. Oh, what's that? I don't care. Alright, hi True Soul 77, how you doing? Alright, so... Let's see what we got here. So this is a team that I worked on last month. Well, I mean, it's April Fool's, so actually 2 months ago. I should also get the document open for this team because I tried to use a document to record my replays, and I have some pretty good replays on this team to go over its capabilities. I can put them on the same tab in just a sec. Where is the document? It's in here somewhere. There it is. I gotta put this tab on my other tab. Okay, so this tab open, and then this tab, and then combine the two tabs, and hopefully this doesn't break everything. Did that break everything? No, we're still good. Okay. Let's change the window a little bit. Actually, no, I'm going to go over the team first. Before we go over any of the replays. Have you played Pokemon Quetzal? I cannot say that I have. I'll add that one to the list to look up later. I'll put it in Pokemon Fangaming. Note. Pokemon Quetzal. Okay. So this team is based off of a team that was kind of popular at the start of Reg F, with the whole Gouging Fire, Kingambit, Ogerpon, Fluttermane core. And the previous version of this team had Rillaboom and Landorus Eye on it, which I opted to replace with Annihilate and Archaludon. But a variant of the team from before with all of the same mons but different items and stuff went on to win first place at the Vancouver Regionals. So this team is probably pretty good because I based it off of that team pretty much. I mean, I think the Gouging Fire is the only thing that's the same out of all of them. Like, the Kingambit on that team has, like, black glasses. Actually, the Ogerpon's probably still the same. The Fluttermane with specs, and then, you know, Rillaboom and Landorus Eye were completely different. But I like this team because it gives me a lot of options into a lot of other different kind of team comps here. So going over the mons that we do have, we have Gouging Fire with the Fairy Terrestrialization. This was really useful for going into other Gouging Fires that would just Breaking Swipe me down into having absolutely no attack. I can Terra Fairy and then Howl up on them, and then maybe Heat Crash if Heat Crash becomes good. I was tipping the words fan and muscle memory kicked in, and I wrote FNAF. I was tipping the word fans. Oh, typing the word fans. And muscle memory kicked in, and I wrote FNAF. That's funny. I do that all the time with some Pokemon names that aren't necessarily correct, but if I need to, like, write the actual word, like with Onyx and Onyx. But this Gouging Fire set is EV'd so that we can get the speed booster off of our booster energy. It's mainly a support set because we have Burning Bulwark to maybe catch a burn on some things. Protect is also handy, just in case there's going to be spores, but we have a lot of spore immunities on other parts of the team, so it's not necessarily the biggest threat. We can also just get rid of Amoonguss if Amoonguss is going to be on the field with some of our specific leads, but it's not too much of a problem. With Breaking Swipe, we can lower the attack of other things on the field as long as they're not Defiant, which King Gambit is really the only Defiant user. Sometimes Galarian Zapdos is in there, but Heat Crash deals with both of those pretty good. Heat Crash can also help you deal with Flutter Mane because of how weak its defense is, and with Booster Energy, you're faster than non-Booster Energy Flutter Manes. So it's pretty good. I like this Gouging Fire a lot. Next up, we have King Gambit. This King Gambit is a pretty simple set with Kowtow Cleave, Iron Head, Sucker Punch, and Protect, and we have the safety goggles in order to not get put to sleep by Amoonguss, and we can ignore Amoonguss's Rage Powder for things like Iron Head into Flutter Mane whenever that lead comes in. So yeah, the main goal of King Gambit's very useful to lead into like Gouging Fire, because then you can get like a hail, not a hail off, you can get a howl off, increase its attack. You can super negate them switching in Incineroar because of your Defiant ability. Get that off, increase your attack. And King Gambit, boosting its attack is good for a lot of endgames, but it doesn't necessarily get you out of them. Again, we have Fairy Terra. Dark Terra might also be viable, but I prefer the Fairy Terra again, just for the Urshifu matchup. Next up we have Ogerpon Wellspring form. This is, again, your normal Ogerpon set, except I didn't make any of these EVs. I don't think I made either of these EVs either. No, I definitely didn't do these EV spreads. But the purpose of this EV spread, at least the speed stat, is that you're faster than all of the Landro Eyes, except for the timid ones. Max speed timid ones. So, yeah, you can bop the modest ones with Ivy Cudgel, and then they'll just die. Because we're Jolly Nature. But this Ogerpon Water set is really also designed to get a Howl off of Gouging Fire, and then go crazy with Ivy Cudgel or Horn Leech in order to have recovery, or if something else needs to set up, like Archaludon or Flutter Mane needs to stay on the field for an extra turn, you can just follow me in order to grab whatever attacks are being thrown out on the field. Especially if you're Terastallized and you have your special defense buff up, and that means that you can take one special attack, redirect it, and then maybe take like a physical attack from like an Urshifu, and then your Pokemon that's nearby can afford to get off their attack without fearing being KO'd, which is great. And Spiky Shield is always good. Next up we have Flutter Mane. This is a pretty standard booster set, except it's not booster, it's Focus Sash, because we have our booster on Gouging Fire. And I think the Focus Sash comes in handy in a lot of places, mainly the again, just kind of beat Urshifu. If we want to beat Urshifu, then we have to use, like, specifically Wicked Blow. You're not going to be catching Surging Strikes with this Flutter Mane set, but that's what Ogerpon Wellspring is here for with Follow Me. But you can catch a Wicked Blow with this Focus Sash set, and then you can just protect until the Urshifu is dead, with so you don't get Sucker Punched at any given time, which is very handy. And again, Fairy Terra could be optimized, maybe. Fairy Terra is just useful for dealing damage at random points, but definitely not useless. Next up, we got Annihilate here. This is where the team differences begin in the grandest way. So the main problem that I was having with the team initially, in ways that it ran Rillaboom and Lando Eye, is I felt a lack of speed control and also a lot of influence from Incineroar, even with King Gambit. It was really annoying to try and get Gouging Fire King Gambit off with Incineroar on the field, because it would just fake out me while I have safety goggles up, and then something else would KO Gouging Fire or mess with Gouging Fire. So I put on Annihilate here as another Incineroar resistance. because we have the Defiant ability, but we're also super fast, and Incineroar cannot fake out us because we are Ghost type. And with these Speed EVs being max speed, we are exactly 1 speed point slower than Gouging Fire with the booster energy off. So that means that Gouging Fire can go for a Howl, and then we can get off a Drain Punch with Annihilate if we want to. Another option is that we just flat out go for the Final Gambit into a lot of things, mainly like Farigiraf and Amoonguss, which doesn't pick up the KO on the bulkier mons, but with Gouging Fire being faster, we can afford to use moves like Breaking Swipe or Heat Crash to damage them a little bit, and then Final Gambit will pick up KO, so they can't eat their Citrus Berries or their other like Agua Berries, those kind of things. So Final Gambit's very handy. I also have Rage Fist on here just in case. There's priority moves on the field like Grassy Glide or Thunderclap. If they're going to risk Thunderclapping in order to lower the damage of Final Gambit, then we can bring Annihilate in later, and we can Rage Fist at a higher base power than 50. 100 would be nice, but you're not going to get 100 every time, no matter what you do. And then lastly, we have Coaching, which is a bit of a weird move. There wasn't really any other move that I saw myself putting on Annihilate, except for Bulldoze maybe for speed control, but I don't have any flying types, and they would have to protect if I wanted to go for Bulldoze, and then I'm locked into Bulldoze, which isn't the best thing in the world. But something that pairs really well with faking out, maybe going for Final Gambit and getting my health lowered by Rage Fist, is going for Coaching. So, let's say they lead like Rillaboom and Ogerpon Hearthflame. Yeah, so let's say they lead like Rillaboom and Ogerpon Hearthflame. They can't fake me out, so they decide to double Grassy Glide to pick up KO into this slot. I could try the Terra Poison in order to resist the damage, get off a 150 Rage Fist, eventually side Coaching into my Pokemon like Gouging Fire, just in case I was expecting a physical attack into that slot. Protected with Gouging Fire. Gouging Fire is now at +1 in attack and defense, and once I get off the Coaching, I can just freely switch Annihilate out and then use Gouging Fire at +1 attack in order to KO any other priority mons that might be on the field. And we have our own priority with King Gambit to get rid of any other priority that would keep Annihilate from just Rage Fisting everything in the back. So yeah, good stuff. Not too complicated of a set here on Annihilate either. It's just full HP so that we can get off as much Final Gambit damage as we can, and then max speed, so that we are super duper fast. Last but not least is Archaludon. I had a hard time fitting what Pokemon I wanted to be in this slot, because for the longest time I thought it should be Raging Bolt in this slot. However, Archaludon has a few advantages over Raging Bolt in this scenario, whereas a lot of the Raging Bolts in the meta right now are Assault Vested, but with Archaludon Assault Vest, I get the same Snarl, but I get Flash Cannon Stab, I get Dragon Pulse Stab, whereas they have to try and Thunderclap things or Electro Web them, which isn't necessarily the strongest. They also have Volt Switch ones, but not necessarily guaranteed electric damage, whereas with the guaranteed Stab Steel damage, it's useful in a bunch more scenarios. But with Archaludon, most importantly, we have Body Press, which leads to a lot more endgames where I could do something like lead Annihilate Archaludon, and I can get off the Coaching into Archaludon. And now a calc that they have like Ogerpon Hearthflame, Terra Fire into Archaludon, which is supposed to KO, because it's a neutral fire type attack, and that's what Ogerpon Hearthflame does, doesn't KO, and now I'm at +2 Body Press, and I deal Body Press into Ogerpon Hearthflame, and it does a decent chunk, like a sizable chunk, into Ogerpon Hearthflame. That gives me room to bring in something like Gouging Fire, and then just Coaching again, and then if they knock out Annihilate, that's fine. I could always just bring in something like King Gambit in order to get the Sucker Punch KO. So yeah, that's the basic gist of what we're looking at here. Again, I think it was important for me to be max Spadef for the Assault Vest, but There's a couple of cool things that I can do on this team. For example, I could have King Gambit Sucker Punch Annihilate if I wanted to, in order to get the 100 damage Rage Fist right away, which is not useless, but it does come up sometimes. Another thing that I could do is I could have like a lead Annihilate Ogerpon Wellspring, and then I Terastallize turn 1, and then I have both a defense and a special defense boost right away, as well as an attack boost on Ogerpon, which makes it really tanky and hard to get rid of with Horn Leech. So, coaching just goes so well on every Pokemon on this team. Like maybe even if Fluttermane was a defensive Terra, I could argue some scenarios where I could coaching into Fluttermane and I could take a hit. But I mean, that's the basic gist. Is there anything else that I want to point out? I was thinking about something really techie earlier, but I can't remember what that is. Oh, so one thing that does come up just kind of weirdly is that if Gouging Fire is on the field and Annihilate are on the field, and there is Sun set up by either like Torkoal or I guess just Ability Sun. If there's Ability Sun set up and the Photosynthesis activates, it will give me speed. But if I coaching Annihilate into Gouging Fire and the Sun goes down and my booster energy activates again, it's going to give me defensive Photosynthesis, which could be handy in some scenarios where I don't need speed, because the battle's already been going on for so long and it's more of a war of attrition at that point. So yeah, I think that is actually everything, except for maybe like Rage Fisting into our Caledon. But usually I just want a coaching. Like, there's not many scenarios where I would just Rage Fist into our Caledon to get the stamina boost, but there are some. So yeah, let's look at some of these replays. That doc had one of the names of my alts on it, didn't it? I mean, I guess this is the name of one of my alts that I use. I'm gonna need to get a new one of those now. I don't know if the computer is handling all this stuff so well. Let's play and then mute this. So this is the first set of a game where they have Ogerpon Grass, which was kind of popular at the time that this game was played. I never really had too much experience playing against it. Of course, they have like Incineroar, they have Urshifu Dark. There should be open team sheets. Well, this was open team sheets anyways. I can't see the open team, but this is open team sheets, so they know a lot of what's going on here. So we play, they get their Embody Aspect speed boost, but they are not faster than Annihilate, which is something very interesting that I learned right away. And also with all of the HP, Annihilate does not die, which is good. I get a little bit of Dragon Pulse chip into Ogerpon, and Annihilate is immune to Hyper Voice. We're not... I think my computer's heating up a bit too much. Oh, also our... Hold on, let me change the viewpoint over in OBS. I think it's this one. Why does that look worse? That is not the one that I wanted. Is it this one? I mean, I guess this one looks better, but this isn't it either. Is it this one? No, it's not this one. What are we doing here? I want to say one of the OBS updates ruined my OBS settings, but I don't remember where it is. I guess I'll use this one for now. So the Fergraph goes for Hyper Voice, doesn't affect Annihilate. They might have been expecting Poison Terra because they thought that the Ivy Cudgel would kill the Annihilate. But I'm very tanky Annihilate, so it doesn't. But we get a double defense boost off of that resisted Hyper Voice, and right now I bring in Gouging Fire because I don't want coaching, so I don't want Annihilate to get knocked out, so I can bring it back in for the 100 base power Rage Fist later. And currently our Caledon has a pretty good body press boost, so I think I chunked that into Giraffe. No, I just chunked that into Ogerpon. They go for the Psychic, which at this point my defense boost is pretty high. Go for the Breaking Swipe there, going to lower the attack. They do Surging Strikes, which doesn't care about the attack drop, but it's going to do so little damage because of how tanky Duraludon is just naturally, and I body press the Giraffe in order to get rid of it. And they give up on this game because it's pretty lost at this point. I still have like all my Mons. And even if Urshifu isn't Choice Scarf, which if it went before, it did not go before Gouging Fire, but it might still be Scarf. But they're probably pretty frustrated at this point that Surging Strikes did not KO Archaludon, despite critting it through all of its defense boost. So let's go to the second game in this set. Oh, did I not save this one correctly? I guess I didn't. Okay, well, I don't remember what happened in the second game in the set, but the third game in the set is the one that I have to win. What did they do? I'm trying to remember, but it was a while ago. But I think I flat out, yeah, I just Heat Crash Ogerpon here. I'm not dealing with this. And I get off the coaching into Gouging Fire, who does not care about Trick Room. They probably got up Trick Room and then had some fancy things happen with their Giraffe. But now our Caledon is in a pretty good spot to not care about the Raging Bolt. I do give up Gouging Fire with the stat boost on it, but that's because like getting Breaking Swipe into Raging Bolt and Giraffe I knew would do a lot of damage, so I could get in Archaludon for free there. And now I can get in King Gambit, who under Trick Room is really going to thrive because... Give it a sec. But King Gambit under Trick Room is going to really thrive here. I don't want to get Thunderclapped for free, so I don't let that happen. And I get off a little bit of a Snarl. If it would have special attack dropped the Raging Bolt, that would have been great. But I just decided to go for the Cow Cleave into the Giraffe, and then I get off the Snarl into Raging Bolt, and that decreases the Thunderbolt damage that I am about to take. So now Urshifu comes in, but we have one turn of Trick Room left, and I'm pretty sure they were Scarf. I would have seen that on the open team sheet. And yeah, whatever they lock into with their Scarf, it's not going to be great because they either lock Close Combat into King Gambit and then I pick up Body Press KO with our Caledon, or they lock in Surging Strikes into our Caledon. No, I guess they would have to lock Surging Strikes into King Gambit and then hope they don't just KO them. But I have Annihilate in the back, and Annihilate has not been hit yet, so I can still probably get off a pretty good Drain Punch into Urshifu and KO that slot. And then there's no way that Raging Bolt was beating my Archaludon. Not with the special attack drop. So Archaludon had a pretty good win there as well. The nice thing about Archaludon into the Raging Bolt matchup was that Raging Bolt either is weak to Dragon Pulse or it's weak to Flash Cannon because it goes Terra Fairy, which is what most of them use. I wish I still had the second game of this set. I thought I did. Save it correctly. Nah, I guess I saved it wrong. Well, what are you gonna do? What is this? Oh. It's another empty Showdown window. So let's go into the important game that I had with this team. This is a matched set on this little college thing that I did. Or still do, technically, but a little college season where we play other colleges. It's me versus this guy from... I don't remember who we were playing that week. It might have been Michigan. Also want to swap this. Swap viewpoint. So this guy's using a pretty standard Glim offense team. Which I had a pretty good amount of practice beforehand. Their Urshifu is like Sash, their Flutter Mane is Speed Booster, their Chi-Yu is Specs, Ogerpon is Ogerpon, Tornadus is Cover Cloak, and Glimora is Power Herb. So I felt pretty comfortable playing into this team with my guys. So they lead Glimora, Flutter Mane, and I think in this matchup I always lead Flutter Mane, Ogerpon, just because of the potential Flutter Mane Chi-Yu lead. So we're going to see this start out, and what I expect them to do is Icy Wind and then Sludge Bomb into Ogerpon, because I could just protect with Flutter Mane, and then I pretty much get a KO with... I get a KO if I just Ivy Cudgel either one of these slots. They don't even Terra Grass here. Like, Terra Grass would have been their way to preserve Glimora for a turn. But what they do is actually worse, because they Icy Wind, and at this point, I'm like, okay, great, Kingambit is getting the Defiant boost like I planned out, and then they Meteor Beam into the Flutter Mane slot, which KOs it, which is not great, because now I lose one of my main methods of speed control throughout the match, but it's not hopeless 100%, because Kingambit is still up. So I get Kingambit to Terastallize here in order to avoid the Earth Power from the Glimora. Archaludon takes the hit from Flutter Mane, Terra Fairy. We get a Spadef drop here, which increases my attack, which doesn't honestly help me too much. Archaludon gets off a Snarl to make everything more manageable. Another thing about the Flutter Mane, I think, going for the Fairy Terrestrialization is makes it so I just can't Sucker Punch them with Kingambit and then pick up the KO. It's possible. They could have been fairly low HP on there. But I Iron Head the Glimora in order to get rid of that. Now Toxic is set up by one layer. Now Chi-Yu is coming in. And they Icy Wind here, which I think Archaludon, because of all the special bulk that I have into it and the Flutter Mane special attack drop, would survive the Moonblast and Heatwave combo. It wouldn't survive an Overheat from Chi-Yu because that would be single target, but I'm gambling on them not doing that. So they do go for the Heatwave here, and that brings me down pretty low, but they burn me, which is super bad because I went for Body Pressing the Chi-Yu this turn in order to try and pick up KO there, and I would have picked up KO if the Chi-Yu hadn't burned me on Heatwave. So I have to Sucker Punch here when I could have afforded to Sucker Punch into the Flutter Mane. And then Archaludon tries to do damage into the Flutter Mane slot, and all I have left in the back is Ogerpon, who is not going to be able to overcome this kind of sizable gap that's been created because the Chi-Yu Heatwave burned me. But a fairly unlucky game here, all things considered, with both the special defense drop and the Heatwave burn. So the Urshifu, once my computer stops freaking out, I might have to like lower the frame rate on OBS. Do I know how to do that? No, not right now at least. But Urshifu is just gonna clean up KO against Ogerpon. There's nothing that I can really do. So a bit of an unlucky game, but I am pretty confident going into the next game that I know how to win as long as the luck goes into my favor. It kind of does, I think, at one point, but mostly still goes in their favor. But my adaptation for the second game is not to lead Chiyu Fluttermane. It's to lead the same thing as before, as I mentioned. Hi Fire, happy late Easter. Well, happy late Easter to you, GG Plays. We're just going over a normal team that I used a while ago here. We got all these good bonds. Perfectly normal team here. But this is the second game, and I'm down one game, so I need to win both of these games in order to win the set. So they do Fluttermane Chiyu here, which is great. This is what my lead directly counters. So we go off with this, and my correct play is to protect Fluttermane, and then get Ogerpon up with its special defense and terrestrialize. They do correctly terrestrialize the Chiyu here, so that Chiyu doesn't just go down in one turn. They get off Dazzling Gleam, which touch Ogerpon, and then they go for Heat Wave here, because they get to survive since they Terra Ghosted. But they Heat Wave burn me again, and this Chiyu Heat Wave burns me every opportunity that it can with Heat Wave, and never misses. So already I'm off to a bit of a rough start. But I decided to Spiky Shield this turn, and then I don't think they're going to Icy Wind, so I have Fluttermane take out the Chiyu, and now we're back up a little bit. But in response to this, they bring in Urshifu, so I do that thing from before where I have Fluttermane just follow me in order to take, or I have Ogerpon follow me, in order to take the hits that Fluttermane would have just gotten dished out. So it's a pretty good trade. I could have Icy Winded here. That way I could have dropped Fluttermane to be the same speed as my Fluttermane, at least. It could be lower, depending on how their speed booster works. And then Urshifu would also be slow, but that doesn't really help me. It helps me more if they're at 1%, because now I bring in Kingambit, and Kingambit is threatening Sucker Punch on Urshifu. So they know this. It's obviously why I brought in Kingambit. So they decide to play around the Sucker Punch, but I play around, they're playing around the Sucker Punch by just flat out hoping that I can take the hit from whatever the Fluttermane throws out. And I click Icy Wind, and that takes Urshifu KO, drops their speed, and then I go for the Iron Head, and that clears the field, which is a pretty lucky play, honestly. I built a Scyther for Meganium raids. Oh, is that the next one coming out this weekend? I haven't seen that yet. What Terra type is the Meganium? No, I'm building a Scyther. What, is it supposed to be Scizor? It's probably Fairy Terra Meganium, right? So Scizor would make more sense there. I'll probably make some more Pokemon for Meganium Terra raids too. Once I finish making the Mons for the next project that I'm working on. But now all they have is Tornadus left in the back, and Tornadus does not like the idea of being chained up on by Kingambit and Fluttermane, so it dies, and it's a bit of a lucky read there that I had to make. But I have Annihilate in the back, so if things had turned south, it wouldn't have been the worst, because there was no shot that I thought that they were going to close combat the Kingambit, because then you just get sucker punched by Kingambit. And there's no shot that the Fluttermane was going to sink Moonblast into Kingambit, because then the Fluttermane that's over here could just get KO'd by the Fluttermane. My Fluttermane could KO their Fluttermane. So, yeah, in that scenario, if they did take out my Fluttermane, then I would bring in Annihilape, and Annihilape would be faster than Kingambit, and with Fluttermane taken off the field, I would have the fastest Pokemon on the field, who would... I guess what they could do is that once they bring in Tornadus, they could Tailwind, and then try Wicked Blow in order to knock out Annihilape, but I think the correct play every time then is for me Kingambit, Sucker Punch, the Urshifu, and... Actually, I'm not sure what that out would be. I guess I would just Iron Head, or Kowtow Cleave, Tornadus every time, and then have Annihilape. Just Drain Punch. Or maybe I have Annihilape Final Gambit and then have Kingambit suck. Yeah, that's better. Because that... Yeah. Yeah, Kingambit, Sucker Punch, and Annihilape Final Gambit. Yeah, that works out like every time. What they would have to do then is Sucker Punch Annihilape, but that play doesn't make any sense. Because then you can just get Drain Punched. Yeah. Oh, it's Psychic Venusaur? Okay. That's a little bit different, but it's fine. We got a lot of good things for beating down Psychic types. So now it's 1-1, and I need to win this game in order to win the set. So, why does it keep putting me on the wrong viewpoint? So I'm gonna mute this tab beforehand. So I do my standard lead. They do the lead from the first game, and at this point, I'm pretty confident that they're not going to fall for the same Kingambit switch in, but I also don't think that they're just going to try and KO Ogerpon this turn. So I do the correct thing, which is protect Fluttermane and knock out their Fluttermane so I can get speed control relatively quickly. They don't think I'm going to Terra there. So they go for the Sludge Bomb to try and get the KO. I get off the Icy Wind, it destroys Urshifu's speed on the next turn, and I thought that Ivy Cudgel was going to KO here, but it is not, which puts me in a bit of a bad spot, because now Meteor Beam is going to bring Fluttermane down to Sash. Wicked Blow is going to flat out just KO Ogerpon. But now I get to bring in Annihilape for fun Annihilape counterplay. Fluttermane just gets to protect as Annihilape tries to take out Urshifu. Sucker Punch doesn't go off because we protected, thank goodness. Now Glamora goes for the Earth Power and gets the special defense drop. And let me tell you, if all these special defense drops were happening on my Pokemon that were not Defiant, I would be really, really peeved at this point. But because it's Defiant, we get a free 2x attack boost. And now we're at 100 base power Rage Fist, which I probably should have gone for Drain Punch in this scenario if I'm being honest. I just thought that they were going to have Tornadus in the back again. So I wanted to have the 100 base power Rage Fist on me in case that happened. But with Fluttermane fully ready to go, I just decided to get rid of their Chi-Yu in order to limit their special attack. And Annihilape goes down because of the special defense drop, but now I have Fluttermane and Archaludon versus Glamora, and they even crit with the Earth Power here to try and get rid of Archaludon. But Archaludon gets to super safely pick up KO, and then I get to win the set. So yeah, I like my Pokemon choice all around here. Of course, Gouging Fire can never come because of their Ogerpon and their Glamora, and fast Fluttermane didn't really fit the neat things that I needed it to do here. I also think me switching Kingambit out was a good play. The Archaludon in the back, I think, surprised them pretty good. And allowed me to remove a lot of the things that would threaten, like Tornadus, for example. Like, if they were Tornadus in the back, then Archaludon wins that 100% of the time. So yeah, pretty good sets. Now let's do some actual battles. We already have Reg G best of 3 set up on ladder. Ignore that. That is also not the right team. Is that the right? No, this one. Yeah, this one. Now we changed the view also. This one? No, this one. So I say I liked Reg F a lot more than D and E. I just really wasn't feeling D and E, but Reg F with all the dragon types that can kind of slap around the ogre pawns, it's good stuff. Dragon types that can at least play around Fluttermane was something that was really needed in the previous 2 formats, because it also helps you with your Urshifu matchup. And it just didn't really feel like there were dragons that could do that. Like, there was Kamao and other Pokemon. So they have a very interesting team here. They're kind of oh, they let me win. Oh, that's cool. See, guys, this team is so good. You just win. Can you even see the win on the screen? No, you cannot. This is horribly cropped. Where is... Oh, this is actually the correct screen for correct cropping that. Okay. But yeah, we win. We win instantaneously. Don't even need to go to a second game. How about that? Music, as always, is by Glitch X City. Okay, so they have Kung Fu Panda. So they do have Landorus Eye, which is a bit difficult for my team to deal with. But I think the safest thing that I can lead is... It's been so long, I forget what I do in this matchup. I'm gonna lead... I think Annihilate and Gouging Fire. No, I'm gonna lead Annihilate and Fluttermane. No, not Fluttermane. I'm gonna lead Annihilate and King Gambit. Maybe I shouldn't take this so seriously. I'm just gonna lead Annihilate, King Gambit, and then have Ogrepon and I guess Fluttermane and no, Archaludon in the back. It's taking a little bit. Here's what those medals under the avatar name are. They now have Showdown seasons? Really? Ladder seasons. For more information, check out the thread on Smogon. Bet. Okay, so they lead Urshifu and Incineroar. So my Annihilate is up. And so is my King Gambit, actually. We're both up. So I could Drain Punch into their Incineroar here, and there's not much that they can really do to stop me from doing that, unless they're very fast. And I mean very fast. Oh, my time is running out kind of quick here. Let's just go... Fairy Terra Protect here. They do go for Fake Out into King Gambit. Drain Punch is going to do a lot of damage into Incineroar. And Surging Strikes is not going to KO Annihilate, but it is going to give us a heck of a Rage Fist later. Let me tell you. So I think that Drain Punch and Sucker Punch will pick up KO here. No, I was very wrong. It very much does not do that. Okay. So now Landorus is in. I need to do this. And I'm going to Ivy Cudgel this slot. And I'm predicting... yeah, Sludge Bomb into the slot. So I'm going to swap in Archaludon. Okay, they do not do that. The Surging Strikes Archaludon, which is fine. We take very limited damage from that. So now I have to decide if they want to Terra Poison here. If they Terra Poison, that would be bad. I'm going to Spiky Shield, and I think the odds of them Earth Powering into the Archaludon are pretty low. So I'm going to go for the Body Press into here. Okay, they do Terra Poison, but what's the slot do they hit? They Water Absorb, and a Substitute. Okay, I could have Snarled there. Snarl would have been great. Now Incineroar's coming in. It's lowered my attack. Yeah, not the best play for me there. The way I see this is I need to double the No, actually I don't need to double the slot. I'm going to Ivy Cudgel this slot and then Snarl. There's the Fake Out. Can't move. Sludge Bomb goes into Archaludon. That's probably a misclick. Or they expected me to swapping King Gambit there. But now that I have the Snarl off, the this man's is super dealable with. And I don't really care about Incineroar being on the field. They'll probably swap it into something else here. But I'm going to Ivy Cudgel here. And then... I don't know. Actually, no. I'm going to Spiky Shield and then... let's Body Press whatever's in this slot. Okay, they do Earth Power that slot, but that doesn't pick up KO. And... there we go. Oh, the opponent is complaining that they misclicked. That's always good. I think I have to see about getting the Snarl off again here. Okay, Dragon Pulse does pick up KO. Whereas this is just the first game. Just feeling it out. Getting used to playing this again. Okay, so the Terra Poison on Landorus was my downfall there. I need to not fall to that every time. So I'm going to lead what I led the first time, which I think was Annihilate and... King Gambit? Yeah. But instead this time I'm going to lead Annihilate and Ogerpon. And then have... Fluttermane and Archaludon in the back. Okay, this time they start Archaludon, or not Archaludon, Shenpao and the Water Bear. So this seems like a good time to Coaching and then Hornleech into the Urshifu. So I think I'm going to do that. Okay, they U-turn. They didn't terrestrialize Chen Pao there, so I could have just Drain Punch this slot. And now they go into Raging Bolt. Okay, Icicle Crash misses. That's fine for now. I think I would prefer them trying to KO Annihilate here, so I'm going to Coaching into Ogerpon, and then I guess Hornleech the Chen Pao slot. Okay, not the best turn. This is so... I could have just Drain Punched Chen Pao, and then it would be so much better slot. I'm gonna count on them not trying to do anything fancy here. They might Thunderclap. I'm gonna Spiky Shield. Thunderclap and Icicle Crash. Okay, we're prone to being Thunderclapped in both slots right now. So now I bring back in Annihilate, and I guess I bring in Archaludon. Nah, actually, nah, I've definitely fumbled my Ogerpon a little bit too much here. I found a shiny Glimmet, and I did not know my boxes was full, so I went to battle. I could not catch it, so I saved and reset. Oh, that's... at least you got it back. Okay, they did a thing here that worked out for us, which is Dragon Pulsing Ogerpon. So, I'm just gonna... This is Terra Ghost. I'm gonna Rage Fist this slot. And then... Actually... Yeah, I'm gonna Rage Fist this slot, and then... No, I'm gonna Spiky Shield. So now this guy comes in. And you threaten Thunderclap on us? I haven't terrestrialized yet. But terrestrialization doesn't really help me. I think I need to swap in Archaludon and then follow me. Then Thunderclap doesn't work, and okay, Substitute comes out. Great, let's Snarl and then have... I guess follow me again. Also, hi Alex1, how you doing? No, I never got the shiny when I got back on. It was gone. Oh, that's... Oh, sorry. I must have misread... I must have misread that. Now I think I just lose. Like, I can Flying Terror here. Flying Terror, Snarl, and then... I don't think Drain Punch is gonna break the sub. But I gotta break the sub somehow. Oh, I Terra Flying, but I didn't keep it whenever I clicked off of it. That's annoying. Now I haven't been hit a single time on Annihilate, which is real disappointing. I think I just click Rage Fist into this, or at least have to. Now Urshifu comes back in. Yeah, I misplayed this pretty bad. Yeah, I'm rusty. I mean, I probably would have been fine if I'd Flying Tarot on that one turn, but I gave it so many resources coaching into Ogerpon when I could have just Drain Punched the slot and then Chinpao would have died, which is really annoying, but what are you gonna do? Well, it wouldn't have died. It would have gone down to Sash, but, like, that's still just as good. Okay, pretty similar team. Is this the same person? This is not the same person, is it? Is it? Okay, well, maybe now I can show off how I can beat a team like this. It's very similar. But let's do correct play, which is like Final Gambit. Annihilate and Ogerpon, and then have, I guess, Gouging Fire and Flutter Maiden back. Okay, Rillaboom comes in. So they might Grassy Glide Annihilate here if they fear the Fake Out damage. Oh, this is Calm Mind. How do you play Pokemon again? I'm forgetting. I did get a shiny Paldean Wooper today. Oh, that's good at least. I really don't think they're going to expect me to just Final Gambit here. So I'm gonna do this to try and take out their Raging Bolt, and then have Gouging Fire deal with this stuff in the back. Because I'd say the Raging Bolt trade is at least worth it there. Now Landorus gets to come in, but we don't really fear Landorus. I can just, like, I think I just double the slot here with, oh, well, actually, hold on. I'm gonna double them out and see what they want to do. Okay, they do Terra Poison. Sludge Bomb and U-Turn, okay. So then let's Heat Crash the Rillaboom and Terra Water Ivy Cudgel into Landorus. Breaking Swipe also wouldn't be bad here. Heat Crash picks up Rillaboom KO. Sludge Bomb does not pick up Ogerpon KO and does so much damage into Landorus. And And what is their last mon? Okay, it is Shenpao. So I'm pretty safe to... Let me think about how I would lose this. I think I Heat Crash Landers here, and then Hornlade Shenpao always. Because the Breaking Spike doesn't do much, because they're probably going to Sucker Punch here. Okay, they Sucker Punch Gouging Fire, which doesn't matter. That crit does not matter. That did less damage than I was expecting to the Shenpao, but I mean, at this point, the game's just over. This game, at least. So now let's go into game 2. So now we have a bit of mind games where they can try to Thunderclap Annihilate. But seeing what their leads were last time, I'm going to lead our Caledon Annihilate. And then have Gouging Fire and... Is Ogerpon in the back smart? I don't think so. I think Fluttermane in the back is smart. Okay, this time they have Shenpao and Rillaboom. So they're not going to use a priority move in their Caledon, because that would... Wait, no, it wouldn't decrease the damage. Shenpao's Sacred Sword doesn't look so bad here, probably going into our Caledon, but they could Grassy Glide and Sucker Punch Annihilate. I don't think that would pick up KO, but it's not impossible. I'm going to Flash Cannon the Shenpao slot, and then... I think I Rage Fist the Shenpao slot, because this covers for Shenpao Terra. Okay, Fake Out on Annihilate is fine. We get to break Sash here on Shenpao. They're probably Sacred Swording or Caledon, yeah. We have a defense boost. We get a little bit of healing off the grassy terrain. Now I think we Flying Terra and then Body Press here. Wait, no, I can't do that. I think I Flying Terra and then... Yeah, let's Body Press and then have Gouging Fire come in. Okay, they do Sacred Sword. We get to take it. Our defense is super high. Even Rillaboom can't knock us out here. We get off the Body Press into Shenpao. But now that we're Flying type, we're not going to get any healing off of the terrain. Now swaps in Landorus. I'm going to Snarl and Burning Bulwark. I was really hoping that wasn't going to KO. That would be cool. Substitute's annoying there. Let's Icy Wind to break Landorus sub and hit Rillaboom, and I think just Heat Crash the Rillaboom slot. Could be Terrify. Terrifier Rillaboom is actually kind of scary here. Icy Wind and Heat Crash the Landorus slot. So that KO's Landorus. Woodhammer almost picks up KO on Flutter Mane. Very close. What do they have in the back now? Okay, they have Urshifu Rapid in the back. So they could just... I'm gonna protect and breaking swipe here. So that blocks the Grassy Glide. This would be Surging Strikes and then Gouging Fire, but I think we take it... Oh, they U-turn into their own Rillaboom, but not, like, in a good way. I think they didn't want to proc the burn on Gouging Fire's Burning Bulwark, but they don't know how Unseen Fist works. But now their Choice Scarfmon has to hit... I mean... Oh, okay, they gave up on this one. Oh, they gave up entirely. Epic. But even if that was, like, bolts in the back, I feel like Nihilate could have handled it. And I predicted the Terrifier there, which was good. So yeah, don't read into these games too much. I have a lot of games where I feel like I show off the play of this team better. It's also been like a month since I played this team actually good, but I still think it's good. I mean, the basis of this team won Vancouver, so like, who can really complain? Okay, this is Choice Band. This thing. Also, my music cut out. Hold on. How do I beat Shenpao Dragapult? I think I do it by leading Annihilate and Gouging Fire. And then I will pay for the problems I've caused if they have Landorus Eye in the back with King Gambit and Ogre Pawn. Okay, this is Dragapult Ogre Pawn. So I think this is good for me if I Final Gambit this slot and then Terra Fairy Breaking Swipe. Can I do that? I think it has to be Terra Fairy Breaking Swipe. I mean, heck, what I could have done here actually is I could have coachinged Gouging Fire. They go Ogre Pawn Water, which is fantastic because we're gonna watch that slot die. Oh, right. Dragapult's Clear Body. Derp. But now we have King Gambit, and that keeps Dragapult from moving. Unless there's Steel. Landorus comes in to ruin my life a little bit more. But they're Choice Band, so they have to switch if they want to keep that slot alive, and they probably do. So I'm going to Sucker Punch, and then Heat Crash the Landorus slot. They really should switch here, because they're locked into darts, yeah. There goes Sucker Punch. There goes Heat Crash. Bada bing, bada boom. And they're ready for game 2. Phenomenal. I found the best YouTube bot to get Herba Mystica. I'm not a big fan of bots myself. I think it makes it too impersonal. But if it works for you, then that's perfectly fine. So what beats the leads that I just had? I think they lead Tornadus now. So I'm going to lead Archaludon Annihilate, and then have... I guess... No, let's have Ogerpon, Archaludon, and then Gouging Fire and Annihilate him back. Okay, they do lead Tornadus, and they lead Dragapult this time. How much damage could they possibly do to me with Dragapult? The answer is a lot. They can do a lot of damage to me. It could very well Phantom Force this turn. So I think I'm going to... I don't know. I think I'm going to Spiky Shield and then... click... Dragon Pulse into Tornadus. There's Tailwind. They try to U-turn. Okay. So, I know if I switch in Gouging Fire here will be good. The question is, do I want to... What do I predict them swapping into? I guess nothing that they swap into really likes Dragon Pulse. So I'm going to do that. Bleak Storm misses Archaludon, which is a bit unfortunate. But now they threaten an Earth Power into either slot, but I want to get rid of their Tornadus. So I could go flying on Archaludon and then try to Burning Bulwark. So let's do that, and Dragon Pulse the Tornadus slot. Does this have Protect? It does have Protect. Bleak Storm comes out, does a little bit, chip in our Archaludon. Let's do less. Dragon Pulse did 31%. That is not enough. So now I think I Fairy Terra and Breaking Swipe, and then Snarl to cover the sub. Actually, I'm gonna Fairy Terra Heat Crash into the Landorus. And then Snarl. Oh, Earth Power picks up KO anyways. Well, that's not great. I just absolutely wasted my Terra there. Tornadus is probably going to set up another Tailwind here. Yeah, I think I'm pretty screwed on that play. Like, I can Spiky Shield and then Dragon Pulse, but I don't think this picks up KO into Landorus. Especially if they Tailwind sub here. If they Tailwind sub, I'm kind of screwed. Oh, they switch in Ogerpon. Okay. I think Annihilate... No, Annihilate doesn't want to take the Bleak Storm, but neither does Ogerpon. I think I let Ogerpon go... Nah, I think I have to let Annihilate go down in favor of Dragon Pulse into Tornadus. Ooh, Annihilate lives. Now Dragapult comes in. Our defense is so high, though. On Archaludon. Like, Flying Terra gives them a lot of problems. So I think I'm gonna Rage Fist this slot just in case I... Oh, I did use my Terra. I'm so dumb. Body Press here. Ah, the critical Dragon Darts. That's gonna be my downfall. And then not killing with Ogerpon there absolutely stinks. Yeah, the crit really stinks there. I commented on your newest video and said you should do an April Fool's stream. Well, I was already preparing to do this stream. And of course, I do read every comment on the channel. I just don't react to every comment. Live? We live. That's good, at least. You don't pull this back, though, right? Like, I have to Ivy Cudgel here, and then Dragon Pulse here. But now wait, how much did one Dragon Darts do? 8%. Oh, with the increased defense. I think we live it. We don't live it. How does... Oh, they're timid Landorus. That's how they're... Okay, they're faster than me then. Then I need to play differently. Alright, I'm ready for game 3. If we hadn't gotten crit there, we probably would have still been fine, though. Nah, Earth Power would have KO'd. Never mind, never mind. I'm cooked. So what I do to beat them leading Tornadus is I lead Archaludon Fluttermane. Because this has... It does have Sucker Punch. Let's have Gouging Fire, and I can't reliably use Ogerpon to beat Landorus. So let's just have Annihilate do it. Okay, they do bring in Tornadus. I think I Terra Flying here and Snarl always, and then Icy Wind? They Poison to dodge getting massive Icy Wind damage. They Earth Power for a pretty good bit. Speeds, Attack Drop. Now I'm just gonna have Dragon Pulse try and chip them away a little bit. Chip away the Tornadus. Should have just Moonblasted the Tornadus. All my problems would be gone if I just Moonblasted it. That is just outside of range again. I should just be stalling turns. That's a single target this turn. That picks up KO, and the crit probably actually mattered there. So the smart thing is to double this slot this turn. So I'm going to Body Press here and Burning Bulwark to stall at the Tailwind. They did not do that, but they also didn't get burned by my... What? I guess Ivy Cudgel isn't a move. I guess it's not a contact move. I thought it was, though. Well, anyways. I really need Heat Crash to KO here. They're smart. Ceramon in the back. Dragapult? Okay. This is where he's coaching. And then I click Heat Crash into Landorus. Oh, they Phantom Forced. Oh, bet. This is the coaching scenario. I mean, Gouging Fire is now going to be ×2, and Dragapult is locked into Phantom Force, which is not super effective. So they take out Annihilate here. And now I can just Breaking Swipe. Alright, definitely screwed around way too much there, but it worked out in the end. That's all that matters. But yeah, that's a few games with this team. I like it a lot. I think the weakest part of it is Fluttermane, though. Like, for a while I debated swapping Fluttermane out for an Iron Bundle with just Focus Sash or Covert Cloak. So that way I would have slightly faster Icy Winds to dish out, and super effective Freeze Drives into, like, Tornadus would have been helpful there. And also Landorus helps out a lot with that matchup. But who knows? I mean, I'm done testing it. I was done with this team like a month ago. And I might make something else before the end of Reg F. But we still have those other teams that I'm currently working on making so that people can battle me and maybe they could get a Pokemon that will be hopefully useful in Reg G. It's the one that comes up at the end of this month. April Fool's. Also, I didn't mention it the entire stream for a reason, but, like, these sprites are awesome. The April Fool's Day sprite that they do for all the different Pokemon, phenomenal stuff. Was there any benefit to me not clicking coaching there? Maybe if they thought, what would they think? Oh, Dragon Darts. Okay, so if they click Dragon Darts and they double redirect that into Annihilate, maybe they thought that they were faster even though I'm Scarf. But they would have to shoot Dragon Darts into me and then maybe give me a Rage Fist boost, because there would only be one darts hitting each Pokemon, and both Pokemon should survive that, even though it's banded. I feel like Gouging Fire should survive it with all the bulk it's got from not having an attack stat, so it could be speed booster. So yeah, that's good. Good use of coaching right there. Got me out of a bit of a nifty scenario. That I've never played the Dragapult matchup with this team before, and I think I could do better, but you could always do better. That's big key takeaway. But thank you guys so much for watching. We're just near an hour and a half here on this one, and I don't want to give this too much thought, but it's probably my favorite Reg F team. And when I was in like the prime time of piloting this team, I feel like it was one of the top 5 best teams I ever made in my life. Just as good as Kitakami, the Kitakami team that I made. I like that one a lot too. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, maybe consider leaving a like on the video or live stream, and even consider subscribing. We hit 900 subscribers recently, which is pretty awesome. We're on that last 100 subscribers to get to 1,000 subscribers, which is a lot of numbers, but like, just whenever number goes up, it's great. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in